Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we're zooming in and focusing in today on some very specific tools that I want you to implement to see if this can assist you to deal with a covert psychopath in your environment. These people unequivocally are the most unscrupulous, manipulative individuals who really are out for the win. They're out to take other people down. They're out to intimidate other people. They're out to deceive. They're out to outsmart and get you to become distracted on all sorts of other sundry things, feelings, things that they do, the trickery that they will utilize in order to make themselves the center of the attention, the center of the power, and the center of control. This is the covert psychopath, someone who will play on others' emotions as well as single people out who have an abundance of the qualities which they themselves do not possess. So a psychopath is devoid of conscience. They are devoid of empathy. They are devoid of emotional connections. They are devoid really of relationships. They intellectualize and mimic these, and oftentimes they have a different appearance to themselves. You can feel either like a real emptiness, sort of a collapse of energy when you're around them, when they're not putting on their facade. You feel this sort of dark energy, a sort of an abyss. When they're otherwise, they can be very great showmen or showwomen. They can exude a lot of confidence or charisma or provider energy, or that they're a man's man or a lady's girl, or whatever it is that they're trying to use to pull people towards them. And they pull other people towards them as a decoy for who they truly are. And when we talk about the covert psychopath, it's very important to understand how they distort other people's thinking, feelings, and emotions, and get others to sort of give up and surrender their own values towards them to get what they need. So it's a very parasitic energy with which they feed off of others. So namely, in this video, we can do a whole ton of videos, but I want to give you some very concrete and specific tools in this video that you can implement right now to safeguard and protect your energy. You need to be able to look at this individual and be rigorously honest with yourself and your emotions, and having a courage to have 20/20 vision, really clear vision in dealing with this person, and not get tied up into knots and not tie yourself up into individual knots more so than the other knots you've already gotten yourself into. So usually when people are beginning to hit rock bottom, they've realized that they've already twisted themselves into a lot of knots with this individual. They've already violated their own boundaries. They've already tolerated too much. They've already gone through many, many situations that have caused them to do very disruptive things or very contradictory to what they want. So you've done some things which are in violation of your own self. You've sacrificed your own standards. You've done some crazy things. You've gone too far. They've caused you to blow up at the work party. They've caused you to blow up at the family gathering. They've caused you to miss deadlines. They've caused you to lose money. They've caused you to lose time. They've caused you to lose face. They've caused you to live in fear. And, fear of what they're going to do next. Fear of what's going to happen tomorrow. There's always this feeling of fear once you've been violated by this energy. So you need to really see things clearly and understand that there's going to be no more knots. There's going to be no more knots. You're no longer bothered. The whole problem with being manipulated is that you are bothered by this person. You have allowed them under your skin. So once you release that and let them go and say, I understand why this person targeted me. I understand now why this person targeted me. I understand now how we got to where we are. I understand now how I got to where I am. I understand now why this had to occur. I understand now the huge lesson that I've learned from this relationship. OMG, I understand now what I need to learn from this relationship. This is a huge lesson that I need, and I understand why I was targeted. I understand now why I have been treated this way. I understand why I absorbed all this negative energy. I understand now why it got so far. I understand now why I'm so far off track. I get it now. So you need to come to that feeling state of not only I understand why they targeted me, I understand how they were able to pull my strings like the puppet. I understand now why I was targeted as such. And if you're still confused, look at your feelings and look at the fear that you feel. And what is that fear about? Usually it's the fear that you don't know how to stand up or protect or communicate yourself to this type of energy, this type of person, or really get your boundaries back in this situation. So to flip that around, you need to get to the flip side, and you need to understand and say to yourself, now that I'm no longer intimidated, I'm going to. Now that I'm no longer taking on this person's needs, I'm going to become. Now that I'm no longer playing to their facade, I would really love to. Now that I'm not overpowered by this, I'm really going to. Now that I know that this is just manipulation, I am going to become. Now that I'm no longer intimidated by this, I'm really going to set myself free and be happy and do. And fill in these blanks. Once you're able to see this and really get and resensitize yourself, in fact, all of my videos talk about recovering your strength, but specifically trying to extract yourself from this covert psychopathic energy, it's important for you to understand what is theirs and not take on that fear, that insecurity, that deep intellectualized playing of people. So not taking that on as your own, and then realizing that you own something, you have something within that is much more pure, beautiful, full of emotion, and you need to get in touch with what you have and then get back into the positive. Take a good look in the mirror. Take a good look at what you have. Take a good look at your accomplishments. Do you see why you were targeted? Do you see why they want to tarnish you? Do you see why they want to target this? Do you see how you're no longer resonating with your own positivity when you're around this person? Do you see how they're trying to have you like unidentify with yourself? This is not a positive state. This is not a positive person. This is not a good person. This, however you want to define it, it is what it is. But once you cease judgment and you come to the understanding of why they played you like they did, why they're trying to maneuver people and take people away and use the trickery in this deceit so that you can become distracted, so you can lose your cool, so you can lose your good, so you can lose your juice, so you can lose your positive orderly direction thinking, so you can lose your happiness. All the things that life is about, they're trying to get you to lose. It is sad, it is scary, but it is true. You need to understand that not all people are like you. The psychopath will tell you that. That's one of the things that they play on, is that they believe that they can outsmart and outdeceive others and not be detected. Their veneer, their facade is that quote unquote good. It is all about how much they fool others. That's all it is. But there are some people in life who expose them and have seen behind the mask. They've seen what this person really is, what it is. They know how they manipulate. They see the red flags. They're able to see the red flags more clearly. So once you come out of that fog, the fear, the obligation, and the guilt, really think about what those mean. Once you come out of that and say, I no longer, fear, obligation, and guilt is not how I want to live. I don't want to feel this way, and I'm not going to feel this way. And this gives me 2020 vision now. I see it for what it is, and I don't have to cater to this facade. I don't have to pretend like I'm, unaware of this. I don't need to live their lie. I don't need to, and I also don't need to convince others of it otherwise. But I do owe it to myself to liberate myself from this negativity and this intimidation. And now that I'm no longer fooled, I'm going to. So you might need to, come to terms with your own passion. So your passion, should be to understand that you don't want to enter the boxing ring with these people. It is unequivocally not worth it. One of the keys in life is you choose your battles wisely. And you must decide, I'm not going to choose to battle this and all the sundry other people that they have, swarmed together, who are playing to their facade. And that's okay. Allow them to do, but you don't need to be a victim. You don't need to feel their projection. You don't need to be made a villain. You don't need to lose that, because that's what they're really, really working on, is the fact that you're going to all of a sudden and just become like a zombie and just be like, this is all about you. We're all just here because of you. And you're the one, you've saved us all. I mean, the messages that they want you to just sing their praises. I ain't singing that song. I know the truth otherwise. And that is going to set me free. And so it is to understand that you don't need, and you can say to not only to the people who surround them, so if they try to, bring this person up or trigger you, and you can just tell them, that's okay. I see, kind of the inner gears of how this works, and I'm not going to participate in that. I see, kind of how they maneuver things, and there's just certain things that aren't agreeable to me. And so, and then use the word next. And so, and moving on. So don't get stuck in those feelings. Continue to lift yourself up. It's kind of like if you study an airplane. An airplane is constantly adjusting. It's going against this, it's going against the turbulence. It's going against the winds. It's constantly readjusting itself towards its flight. So it's like constantly readjusting your torque. So you need to do that repeatedly. I'm not playing there. I'm not caving in. I know better. It's okay. And then, but then sticking up for your needs. In other words, continuing along your positive orderly direction like a airplane that's going up against turbulence. So it's going, we're entering into turbulence now. I'm going here. I'm liberating myself. And you might need to speak the words. You might need to speak those words to people. No, I see the red flags. That's okay. I'm not going to participate. I've identified the red flags here, and it doesn't look good. I kind of know about how they're overcompensating. I know better. So validate yourself and just kind of let that person be. Don't be fooled by the facade. The number one is don't be fooled. Don't be played. Don't allow yourself to feel negated. Instead, say, I am so glad that this person has educated me and it's been a huge lesson in my life towards not what to give into. And I know better. And this has made me a stronger and more resilient person. And now that I'm not intimidated, I'm going to. Now that I'm not afraid, I'm going to celebrate. Now that I don't feel bad, I'm going to feel good about. And look at the reflection of how good you are and understand why it is that they targeted you, and let those bad people off the hook. Let them go. Let them exist in their toxic sludge. Don't worry about how their story is going to play out. Only focus on your story and your victory and setting yourself free and what that looks like, what that feels like, and what that means to you. So I want you to come up with a list of 20 things that you're going to do other than feel intimidated, fearful, and low, and I want you to write those out, and I want you to practice and enforce those. It's your buddy, Peace and Harmony. I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out.